Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Watch my video and subscribe my channel. Brooke's water horror, Ridge's true love epiphany and Nick's dream dashed. The bold and the beautiful teasers for the next 2 weeks from July 28th to August 8th say that Brooke Logan will have a scary experience in the ocean before Ridge Forrester realizes he is in love. A lot will happen on the CBS soap, and Nick Marone's desire will also come true. Taylor Hayes will hope she got through to Brooke about Ridge being abducted over the week of July 28th to August 1st. Despite all Taylor's blustering, she'll be apprehensive about the likelihood of Brooke and Ridge bonding on this Italy vacation. Eric Forrester will set up Ridge and Brooke on some dates, and they will have some bonding time. The charm of Naples will definitely play a role in what happens next for Brooke and Ridge. There'll also be a fashion display, but Nick will be focused on pleasure instead than business. We'll see Nick try to get Brooke away from Ridge and make plans to do so. Brooke will wind up on a boat with Ridge as they sail to Capri, but Nick will seek a boat as well and convince Brooke to take a voyage with him next. Nick is planning to surprise Brooke with a marriage proposal, but there are even bigger surprises coming. B&B spoilers predict that Brooke will have an accident soon, so this might be when it happens. Will Ridge, who is jealous, see Brooke tumble off the boat? Regardless, Ridge will see a risky situation and play rescuer. It looks like Ridge will leap in the ocean after Brooke and save her, so that should bring his genuine love epiphany during the week of August 4th to 8th. Things will click into place for Ridge when it comes to the lady he's genuinely destined to be with. Everything Eric's been saying will ultimately settle in and lead to Ridge's revelation that Brooke is his person. Nick's goal of reuniting with Brooke won't play out, so he'll have to lick his wounds after Brooke goes back to Ridge. However, it'll be Taylor who ends up most hurt, as she really thought Ridge would stand by her side forever this time around. Taylor seems poised to unleash her wrath on Ridge and wonder how he could do this to her. Following all the Italy episodes, John Finnegan will resume probing into Grace Buckingham's conduct involving Liam Spencer and his amazing recovery. If anyone can expose Grace as a scammer who apparently made up the tumor and experimental operation for money, it's Finn. It'll be good for Finn to devote himself into this inquiry, since Steffy Forrester will be leaving LA with the kids for a spell. The bold and the beautiful spoilers indicate the next 2 weeks will offer some stunning news and escalating conflict. So stay tuned for updates on all shocks. Brooke reacts to Taylor's warning. Eric tells Nick back off. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for Monday, July 28th, show that Brooke Logan will react to Taylor Hayes' warning, while Eric Forrester advises Nick Marone to back off. After Taylor overheard Brooke making yet another play for Ridge Forrester, she went to confront her alone. That led to Taylor making it crystal obvious that Ridge wasn't available and ensuring nothing was going to come between them. On Monday's B&B show, we should see Brooke's reaction to Taylor's outburst. Despite Taylor predicts that her future with Ridge is secure, Brooke won't be so confident about that. It appears probable Brooke will push Taylor's buttons by playing up her history with Ridge and how often they found their way back to each other. Brooke may point out that Italy may be a magical place and leave Taylor even more worked up than before. As for Eric, he'll have a tense conversation with Nick. Since Eric is pulling for Brooke and Ridge's happy ending, he won't want Nick making a greater mess of things. Now that Eric's been pushing Ridge to reconcile with Brooke before it's too late, he'll probably advise Nick that his own Brooke reunion isn't going to happen. Eric will still believe in the power of destiny when it comes to Brooke and Ridge's future. That's why Eric will guide Nick away from his Brooke quest, or at least attempt to. Nick isn't someone who lets other people tell him what to do, so he won't be eager to heed Eric's advice. Instead, Nick will decide to prove he's the perfect man for Brooke and will make some unexpected steps once the Italy vacation gets going. Although Nick will intend on enticing Brooke to tie the wedding, several twists and turns are likely to throw off his next plot. Nick will have to make some updates along the road as catastrophic news strikes. The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal Brooke and Ridge really are endgame. Nick proposes Bridge's boat adventure. The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for the week of July 28th, 2025. It is all about the experience in Italy, which kicks out on Tuesday, July 29th. So, let's get started talking about Ridge Forrester, Brooke Logan, and Nick Marone's retreat. Brooke Logan's arrival. Let's begin with Brooke and Ridge. Both are in Italy on business, together with Eric Forrester and others. Even though they are there for business, Brooke is hoping to get Ridge back. Taylor Hayes won't be tagging along with Ridge, but did ask Nick to keep an eye on Taylor. When Ridge reminded his ex-wife that he's devoted to Taylor, she threatened to go with Nick. Eric Forrester and Donna Logan's greeting. Bridge both ride in a beautiful boat together, jetting through the water. Even though Brooke opted to come with Nick, something must happen. They either get separated or Ridge makes sure Nick doesn't get there on time. Meanwhile, Brooke and Ridge come by boat to the spot where they are all vacationing. Up on a cliff, Eric and Donna Logan wave down at them. Eric calls for them to come on up. Nick Marone's plea. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for the week of July 28th state that Nick arrives in Italy, but he isn't with Brooke. I wonder whether the seaman was mysteriously late to the plane, and Brooke had no choice but to travel with Ridge and the others. In the promo footage, Nick is begging a man on the street. Nick proclaims that he needs a boat. Later in the preview clip, Nick says, "Let the fun begin." https://x.com/status/19488808974465450-276. Steffy Forrester Finnegan's modeling. There are also several scenes of models strutting their stuff. In one scene, one model looks like Steffy Forrester Finnegan, but I can't be convinced. It is also teased that Nick has an engagement ring box. Does that indicate Nick will try to seal the deal with Brooke? How will Ridge handle the news? Eric has been pushing Bridge back together, but Ridge is right. This is his life and his decision. In any case, there should be loads of drama, especially with Brooke plunging into the sea. Of course, both men will certainly jump in to save her, but which one will be her eternal hero? The sun glistened over the glittering waves of Naples as the latest episode in the unending drama of Brooke Logan's heart began to unfold against a backdrop of luxury, fashion, and dangerously whispered truths. From the time the Forrester entourage arrived in Italy for what was meant to be a professional display, it became evident that emotions would collide, passions would surge, and destiny would be rewritten beneath the seaside cliffs of Capri. Brooke Logan, ever radiant and filled with hope, stepped off the private jet with dreams of possibility shimmering in her eyes. Possibilities involving Ridge Forrester, the man whose name had been etched into every crevice of her heart despite years of betrayals, reunions, and devastating near misses. What began as a high-fashion extravaganza quickly unraveled into a labyrinth of romantic disaster. Taylor Hayes, unwavering in her notion that Ridge belonged to her, issued a strong warning to Brooke, one loaded with desperation and envy. "He's mine now, Brooke," Taylor muttered under her breath during a private argument, believing once again that destiny had slanted in her favor. But Brooke wasn't shaken. In reality, Taylor's insecurity simply emboldened her. She knew Ridge better than anybody, and she recognized the glitter in his eye as their gazes locked during the welcoming party hosted by Eric and Donna in the villa perched high above the ocean. Eric, the seasoned patriarch, was playing puppet master behind the scenes, pressing Ridge to listen to his heart and quit fleeing from the reality. Despite Taylor's protestations, Eric believed only one woman had ever fully owned Ridge's soul, and that woman was Brooke. Meanwhile, Nick Marone lurked in the periphery, biding his time, driven by a burning desire to restore what he once had with Brooke. Nick's arrival in Naples was no coincidence. He'd gotten Taylor's call and saw an opportunity not just to watch over Taylor's interests, but to pursue his own dream, to get Brooke back once and for all. "She's not a prize," Eric shouted at Nick during a tense exchange on the villa's terrace. and she doesn't need rescuing. Not from Ridge, and certainly not from you. But Nick was undeterred. He'd carried an engagement ring, tucked securely in his pocket, and a fantasy in his heart, a seashore proposal that would forever change the direction of their lives. He chartered a private boat and made plans to intercept Brooke on her way to Capri, determined to whisk her away to a hidden cove where he'd bend the knee and pour out his heart. But Ridge, feeling something was off, assured Brooke boarded the Forrester boat with him first, under the appearance of business, but with the unsaid understanding that this excursion would test the boundaries of their history and potentially ignite their future. As the boat sliced through the shimmering Mediterranean, Ridge and Brooke found themselves alone on the upper deck, the warm wind tousling Brooke's golden hair as she turned to him and whispered, "Do you ever think we've wasted too much time?" Ridge's answer was in his eyes, soft and filled with longing. Just as their hands brushed and the silence grew sensitive, Nick's boat appeared on the horizon, rushing across the ocean like a storm of unresolved emotions. Nick waved wildly, shouting Brooke's name, and Ridge reflexively tightened his grip on her hand. "Don't go to him," Ridge warned. But Brooke, interested and bewildered, went near the edge of the yacht to wave back. And in that brief second, calamity struck. A sudden curve, a loose railing, a misstep, and Brooke crashed into the sea with a scream that silenced the breeze. Both Ridge and Nick plunged in after her, the turmoil bursting as witnesses on the deck yelled and grabbed for life vests. Underwater, Ridge found her first, her clothes blowing like seaweed, her eyes wild with fright. With forceful strokes, he wrapped his arms around her and dragged her to the surface, sputtering and gasping. Nick reached there moments later, but the look on Brooke's face said it all. Her hero, her guardian, was Ridge. As they were pulled aboard, soaked and shaken, Brooke clung to Ridge, sobbing softly, her fingers curling into his shirt. In that moment, Ridge saw everything with crystalline clarity. He didn't want a future dictated by shame, responsibility, or mistaken commitments. He wanted Brooke. He'd always wanted Brooke. As she shivered in his arms, he whispered, "You're my home." Nick watched from the other side of the deck, his world crumbling. Later that night, under the illumination of Italian lanterns and the perfume of lemon trees, Nick finally got his opportunity. He took Brooke aside, led her to the edge of the bluff, and presented the ring. But Brooke, still trembling from the accident, softly placed her palm over his and murmured, "You'll always have a piece of my heart, but Ridge has the rest." Nick's face sank as he glanced away, nodding slowly. Dreams die softly sometimes, and this one dropped like a stone into the Capri Sea. Back at the villa, Taylor's rage erupted. "How could you do this to me?" she yelled at Ridge. "You told me we were building something real." But Ridge, now fully in his reality, simply responded, "I never stopped loving her." Taylor stormed off, her tears ringing into the courtyard, while Donna looked on with sorrow, and Eric gave Ridge a smile of encouragement. The next morning, as Brooke emerged on the balcony in a white sundress, the sun laying a golden sheen on her skin, Ridge approached her with a small velvet box, not Nick's, but one from a fresh beginning. "Let's stop wasting time," he remarked. Brooke's eyes welled with tears. "I've waited for this moment my whole life," she said, and when their lips connected, the world slipped away. Meanwhile, back in Los Angeles, Finn submerged himself in hospital records, connecting the connections of Grace Buckingham's odd behavior throughout Liam Spencer's medical experience. As Steffy packed her bags for a temporary leave with the kids, Finn swore to learn the truth about the diagnosis, the surgery, and if Liam had ever actually needed saving in the first place. But that storm, too, was still brewing. For now, under the sun-drenched skies of Italy, Brooke and Ridge stood reunited, stronger than ever, their love renewed by peril, clarity, and the inescapable tug of destiny. Nick came to the States alone, a man with a wounded heart, but perhaps a revitalized purpose. Taylor retreated into the Tuscan hills, her tears unnoticed, her future undetermined. But when Ridge placed the ring onto Brooke's finger and kissed her once more, it was clear. The heart wants what it desires, and Brooke Logan had always had his. Eric Forrester's desperate attempt to stop Nick Marone changes everything in Italy. Eric Forrester confronts Nick Marone about Brooke Logan, resulting in unforeseen sabotage in Italy. Will Nick reach Brooke before it is too late? Bold and beautiful spoilers. Eric's desperate move to stop Nick Marone affects everything in Italy. The gloves are off in Italy. Just when we thought the struggle for Brooke Logan's heart couldn't get much hotter, Eric Forrester takes matters into his own hands. And let me assure you, this is not your ordinary meddling father-in-law scenario. We're discussing sabotage, conflicts, and a desperate sea captain racing against the clock. Eric Forrester draws the line. Stay away from Brooke. Eric Forrester has had enough. The Forrester patriarch met Nick Marone with a warning that sent shockwaves across Los Angeles. What's his message? Stay away from Brooke Logan. But here's the thing. Eric isn't simply being protective. Oh no. He has an agenda, and it is called Ridge Forrester. See, Eric is desperate for Brooke to reconcile with his son. Never mind Ridge's current engagement to Taylor Hayes. Never mind that Brooke might have feelings for Nick. Brooke and Ridge, according to Eric, are destiny. What happens when Eric Forrester decides something is destiny? Keep an eye out. This man doesn't merely meddle, he orchestrates. Sabotage at sea. Nick's Italian nightmare. This is when things become very fascinating. Nick Marone had plans. Big plans. Romantic dreams involve traveling Italy and reuniting with the lady he loves. But suddenly, mysteriously, everything goes wrong. What about trip arrangements? Sabotaged. Can he accompany Brooke? Gone. Coincidence? I think not. Nick encounters barrier after obstacle, each of which neatly precludes him from getting anywhere near Brooke. Where does Brooke wind up instead? On Ridge's boat. Of course she does. Because when did anything in this love triangle ever seem simple? The poor sea captain is left scrambling, anxiously trying to get another boat to follow them. Can you imagine the frustration? The man who controls ships for a living can't even acquire a basic boat when he needs it the most. Ridge and Brooke sail into danger, or destiny. While Nick is confined on shore tearing his hair, Brooke and Ridge are sailing into the Italian sunset. Let's be honest for a second. Eric's fingerprints are all over it. The timing is too perfect. The hurdles are too convenient. Eric cautioned Nick to back off, but what happens when warnings do not work? Well, it looks that the Forrester patriarch is not above a little imaginative interference. But here's what keeps me on the edge of my seat. What happens when Brooke finds out? Because she'll find out. Secrets like this do not remain buried in soapland. What happens when Brooke Logan realizes that someone, notably her prior father-in-law, has been manipulating her love life? Fireworks. Pure fireworks. What does this mean for everyone involved? Nick Marone isn't one to give up. This is a man who has loved Brooke for years, had a son with her, and returned purposefully to regain her heart. A few botched travel plans won't stop him. If anything, they'll make him more determined. Ridge Forrester? He's got Brooke right where he wants her, aboard a magnificent boat in Italy. But is he even aware of his father's interference? Or is he the innocent victim of Eric's deception? And Taylor Hayes? The woman is engaged to Ridge and is sitting at home while her fiancé sails off with his ex-wife. If this doesn't break up that engagement, I'm not sure what will. Eric Forrester may believe he is defending his vision of destiny, but he is actually playing with fire. Brooke respects honesty above all else. When she finds this deception, Eric may find himself on the wrong side of Logan's anger. The bigger picture. This isn't just about a boat excursion around Italy. This is about control. Regarding who gets to decide Brooke's destiny, Eric plainly believes he has the right to manage her love life, to drive her toward Ridge regardless of her heart's wants. However, Nick represents something different, an opportunity for Brooke to break away from Ridge's never-ending cycle. a possibility to try something fresh, free of the weight of decades of grief and betrayal. Will Nick overcome these obstacles? Can he contact Brooke before it is too late? Has Eric's interference sealed everyone's fate? One thing is certain. When the truth is revealed, as it usually is, the fallout will be catastrophic. Eric may have won this fight, but the struggle for Brooke's heart is far from over. Eric's warning: Nick's sabotage, Brooke versus Taylor. The bold and the beautiful spoilers are in for Monday, July 28th, 2025. Fans could anticipate Eric Forrester to offer a warning. Nick Marone meets challenges on his journey to Italy. Brooke Logan and Taylor Hayes resume their fight. Continue reading and let's explore what's coming up on the CBS soap opera. Taylor Hayes Confrontation. Let us start with Taylor and Brooke. Despite their past connection, they are once again at odds over Ridge Forrester. Taylor proposed to Ridge out of desperation, and he agreed. While Ridge is faithful to her, Brooke refuses to give up on the man she adores. Taylor observed Brooke again hurl herself at Ridge. Taylor didn't intervene this time, instead following Brooke to a private encounter. Read more. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Did fans miss this important detail about Luna? Brooke Logan's justification. Taylor confronted Brooke and warned her. Brooke, on the other hand, may continue to bring up prior reunions with the dressmaker. Taylor is already concerned about Ridge's interest to Brooke, but she has little control over the issue from California. Could Nick agree to Taylor's plan to spy on Brooke? Or perhaps Taylor secretly travels to Italy to spy on Ridge herself. Eric Forrester's threat. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for Monday, July 28th hint that Eric will square off against Nick. Fans have watched as Eric tries to get Ridge to reconnect with Brooke. So far, that has not happened, and Ridge is becoming annoyed by his father's interfering. It has also given Brooke optimism that she will be able to have Ridge back. The fact that Ridge ends up with Brooke or Taylor is inconsequential. What upsets me is his meddling and contempt for both women. Nick Marone sabotaged. Fans might also watch Nick being sabotaged. Nick dislikes being told what to do, so Eric's threat or warning could prompt Nick to challenge him. Eric could have people sabotage Nick's plane, forcing Brooke to travel with Ridge.